My name is Filipe Lopes. I work in the Ministry of Agriculture of Brazil, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock. Could you please... Você pode reduzir um pouquinho o volume, que está dando eco aqui. Vai dar microfonia. Isso, muito bom. E a gente vai começar... today, I'm going to address this presentation in English. I guess it's going to streamline the process and engage with our foreign partners here in Cotrijal, Expodireto Cotrijal. And today, like I said yesterday, we are going to talk about the Brazilian agriculture, what we have in production, and also what Brazil is doing regarding sustainability in its production. And this is a topic of paramount importance that Brazil takes very seriously, and of course is a topic to showcase to our international markets and partners, because we as Brazilians we are very proud of our agricultural production, and also we are proud of keeping our environment healthy and very vibrant in our country. So I'll start showcasing what does Brazil have in regards to natural vegetation, our biomes. So Brazil has 6 biomes. The biggest one is the Amazon, which comprises almost 40% of our territory, followed by the Cerrado biome, which is somewhat close to the savannas in Africa, but it's a little bit different, of course, because Brazil and the Latin American and Africa, the continent, separated a long time ago from each other, and of course small differences are expected to happen. So we also have the Mata Atlântica, which is the light green area in this map. And the difference between the Mata Atlântica and Amazonia is, of course, they are separated by the Cerrado region and also the Caatinga. And the Mata Atlântica is in a place with a huge mountain range in Brazil. And most of the Amazonia biome is located in a flat territory. And Cerrado is today the agricultural main place in Brazil, the place that we have the majority of our crops, especially corn and soybeans, and about 15 to 20% of this area of the Cerrado region is destined for the agricultural production. Estimates varies because of methodologies, but I think I wouldn't miss by far that our area of agricultural production in the Cerrado region is about 15 to 20%. And here in Rio Grande do Sul, we have the Pampa and also the Mata Atlântica. And the Pampa is like a grassland, and I assume that you might have seen lots of grassland between the hotel and this place, but also you saw lots of agriculture as well. And I believe that Passo Fundo in this region of Nome Toque is somewhat in the transition between Pampa and Mata Atlântica, which is this region in the northern region of Rio Grande do Sul state. And there's a difference between the biomes and what our legislation call like the Amazon region, and that's what we call here the legal Amazon. And the legal Amazon was created in 1953, and this area gathers a set of municipalities considered by law under the Amazon biome, and this definition produces effect on public policies aimed to the economic development for the region. It's an area, of course, so the legal Amazon is an area bigger than the Amazon biome. So as you may see, the Tocantins state, which is this region here, is totally comprised in the Cerrado region. But for our legislation, the Tocantins state is under the legal Amazon. And what does it produces in the real road? Well, we have the Forest Code, which is one of the most stringent legislation that we have in Brazil, and it covers both the preservation of the environment, of the biomes that we have in Brazil, but also sets lots of requirements for agricultural production in Brazil. And these requirements must be observed by all farmers in Brazil. So if you have a farmland here, and if you want a farmland here in Brazil, you should observe what the legal, the Forest Code provides for the preservation of the natural vegetation in Brazil. So, according to the legal forest, all farmlands that are comprised in the legal Amazon should preserve 80% of the area of the property of the farm. So what does that mean? That if you have, I would say, 100 hectares in your property, you should preserve 80 hectares of this property. You can have agriculture only in 20% or 20 hectares of your property. So it's a huge commitment that all producers here in Brazil, especially those in the legal Amazon, have to comply. And it's important to note that not only they should preserve, but they have to maintain these areas. So they spend money maintaining these areas. So I don't know another country that has such a stringent policy towards production. For me, there's no legislation akin to the Brazilian forest, neither in the scope nor in the level of the requirements. So just continuing, because it's important to notice. So remember, I talked about the legal Amazon. So all our areas that are Cerrado in the Cerrado biome, but is considered like the legal Amazon, they have to preserve 35% of their area. So Tocantins state, like you saw, it's mostly in the Cerrado region. Tocantins state is right here. It's right here. So they in the pink area. So they have to preserve 35% of their area. It's a lot of it's a huge requirement that they have to comply with. And all farmers the rest of the farmers in the other biomes here in Brazil have to set aside 20% of their area. So this is what we call legal reserve. In 80%, 35%, and 20% depending on where they are located. And also the Forest Code provides that other areas must be preserved, like riparian forest, vegetation around the springs and lakes, top of the mountains, hillsides, and other small areas that we consider as sensitive for preservation. And Embrapa made a huge effort to try to demonstrate what is set aside for preservation in Brazil. And considering all the provisions that the Forest Code have to all farmers in Brazil, this is what Embrapa calculated. And they used an advanced methodology, and we have several data scattered around various and a big number of offices, official information in offices here in Brazil, and they gathered this information and determined that almost 66% of our area are destined for preservation. This is not the actual use of the farmland, of course, but it's what's set aside considering the provisions that we talked about earlier. And also they considered units of conservation, which is like the forest parks and indigenous lands and all areas that are not destined for agriculture. So they calculated that, and 66% is for preservation. But almost the half portion of this 66% are preserved in rural properties here in Brazil because of the forest codes. So when they calculated all the areas, this is like we say the result of the areas that we have set aside. And for agricultural use, we have 30.2%. And most of it is for pastures. And a friend of mine in Brasilia will talk later about a program that we have to restore degraded pasture lands here in Brazil. And 77.8% are destined for farming, just agriculture. So we have all the production that we saw yesterday regarding our export data and also production data that I brought yesterday is developed in 7.8% of our land. So changing the tune a little bit, I would like to talk about the main products of our economy, just for you to know that within this 7.8% we can produce several products, and I selected those that we have the major producer or exporter. So in orange juice, for orange juice, we are the main producers, the major producers in the world. As soybeans as well, we have lots of our production are destined for exports. But as you see, some of those products stay here in Brazil, most of it. For example, it's not translated, but it's beef, the icon with the cow head there. We have 20.6 million ton produced. We had 10.6 million ton produced in 2024, but we exported only 3 million tons last year. And this is because most of the products stayed here in Brazil. So there's a fallacy in the world that Brazil produces for export. No, we have a huge population here in Brazil, and lots of markets in our country. So for most of the products, we, especially proteins, the most of the production stays here in Brazil, and a part of it goes abroad. So we are the main producers of coffee, and we export a lot. I guess the world likes our coffee a lot, and this is something that we are proud of. But we also export cellulose for the world. We are a major producer, and sugar is one of our main export products, like we saw yesterday during my presentation. And this is really important because it's a data that shows that with what we have in area is most is really important, or it's significant for our production. And we have this production because of technology. That's I would say that the result that we saw in the previous slide is based on what we see here, and I will explain bit by bit here. As you may see in the graph in the left portion of this slide, is that during 1974 to 2020s, 2023, 2024, I guess I used the data for 2023, we have had a huge incrementation or a huge addition to our production. And if you notice I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused here because it's wrong here. Oh no, it's right. I'm sorry about that. If you notice the red line, you will see that this is the area that we use for production. So you may see that production, that there are the green columns keep growing, and also the harvested area is like stable, increasing a little bit over the years. And of course, the blue line means that the yield of this production is increasing, and this is the result of lots of research and also the role of the public policies and what Embrapas have done to our agriculture between 1974 and 2000 in the 2000s. Embrapa was founded in this period in the 70s and was shift in paradigm here in Brazil. Because of Embrapa, we have all the knowledge and also the adaptation necessary for producing food in the Cerrado region and other biomes here in Brazil. And in the right corner of this slide, we can see that the production grew over all those years almost 600%, and the area only 140%. This is because of the total factor productivity, which measures the efficiency of the inputs employed in the production process. So we became more efficient, and this is because of research and technology. So Brazil was a net food importer until 1990s, until the 90s. So because of research, the technical assistance, I said the Embrapa's role, and all the economic stability that we gathered during the 90s, we could advance in our agricultural production. So a series of policies, a series of economical policies as well made the Brazilian production stable here in Brazil. And this is a study that was made by IPEA, which is an institute, an official institute of research in economics here in Brazil. And we saw that during 2000 and 2019, Brazil was the country that grew the most in the total production factors. So we have an increase of 3.18% over this period, as other countries have less than Brazil. In the world, the mean average for the world is 1.66%. So we became more efficient over the years, and that's why Brazil grew its production. But as I said, for Brazilians, the preservation is one of our key priorities. And the Brazilian government has several efforts to maintain the area that we have preserved and to improve those areas. So one of the key programs that Brazil developed over the years is the plan for the prevention and control of deforestation in the legal Amazon, what we call here in Brazil, PPCDAM. It was created in 2004 and was one of the key drivers behind the 82% reduction in deforestation when we consider the year 2012. Brazil, during this period between 2004 and 2012, made a huge effort and curbed this, the deforestation in the Amazon region by 82%. So the action was to combat the deforestation and create conditions, also create conditions for the sustainable development in the legal Amazon region. So the program is today still active, and a new phase of this program has started in 2023, and it's going to be active until 2027. And today it's effectively helping to curb deforestation in the Amazon, in the legal Amazon. So between 2023 and 2024, the reduction of the deforestation in the legal Amazon region was of 30.6%. So this is the effort that we are having as a country to preserve our Amazon region. So this is the result that I was talking about. This is data from PRODES, which is a program that maintain the data regarding deforestation in the Amazon region. They monitor the deforestation by satellite, and those are the main results that we have with this program. So today we are in the second column, the gray column here, and we are in a trend of reduction of deforestation in Brazil. But the way we produce matters as well. So we have, as a government, as a country, a set of legislation to preserve what we have in place in the Amazon region, in the Cerrado region, and other biomes that are very important for us. But the way we produce matters a lot. So we have several technologies and also several ways to produce better, respecting the animal welfare, respecting our land, improving the soil quality and soil health. And this is something that I'm going to cover from now on. In this hexagon here, we have pictures of technologies used here in Rio Grande do Sul, like no-tillage, integrated crop systems, and bioinputs. We have a huge increase of the usage of bioinputs in Brazil. And this is thanks to the entrepreneurship of our producers and of our researchers as well, and also thanks to policies that the Ministry of Agriculture have in place to develop this market. So, no-tillage and integrated systems. It's a technique that prevents soil disturbance. So, we do not disturb the soil by revolving it in several field operations. So, the main goal here is to cover the soil with organic matter, and this surface so the surface is not exposed to the climate, to rain and other climatic factors. This is really important. It is widely spread here in Brazilian producing areas, especially here in Rio Grande do Sul, which was one of the first areas in Brazil that implemented the no-tillage system. And studies from 2021 reported that over 33 million hectares in Brazil were under no-tillage. And this is an area that's comparable to the combined surface of Slovakia, Czech Republic, Hungary, and Austria altogether. The adoption rate here in Brazil, as you may see in this graph, was almost exponential, because the producer saw that there are several benefits for soil and water conservation, and most of all, the producer saw that it's really economic. It's an economical endeavor that they have for themselves. So they can cut expenses by using no-tillage and also integrating systems. And this is one of our main goals here in Brazil, is to promote the systems integrations of productions here in Brazil, because we have, like we see, cattle production, we have cellulose production, and we have grain production. So why not combine all those productions and benefit from the perks that each of this production have when produced by alone, in a standalone production. So our researchers have had a huge question in the past, and it is still a research ongoing. I would say it's not finished yet, because it's the implementation of the integrated systems, like the forest, crop, and livestock production, is not easy and depends on the biome that of your farmland is located in. So, like I said, it promotes the coexistence of different types of crops and livestock production. It's not only developed for beef production, but also for ovine and caprine production as well. It improves animal welfare because of the shading, nutrient cycling in the soil, because of the organic matter that is integrated in the system, the soil quality. This integrated systems maintains the biodiversity, and it's something proved by our researchers. And according to the ABC plan, which is something that I will cover later, between 2010 and 2020, the integrated crop, livestock, forest system totaled over 16 million hectares, which is a lot in Brazil, and it is still increasing. Bioinputs. I don't know if you know McKinsey & Co., which is a company in the United States. They produce every now and then, I guess every 2 years, a product called Global Insight Farmers. And they interview lots of farmers in several countries, and they ask key questions regarding what they see for their production and what they are doing and the expectations that they have for agricultural production in the next few years. And Brazil is the leader of the use in bioinputs, which is basically, if you don't know what bioinputs means, bioinputs is a combination. It's a combination of products, biological products that can enhance the performance of agricultural production in several areas, both both in production itself, but also preventing damage by preventing damage to from pests in these crops. So there are biopesticides, there are biofertilizers that we can use in our production, and all those production is made in a sustainable fashion. So the adoption, what McKinsey saw is that the adoption is growing throughout the years, and Brazil is growing on the use of biostimulants, biofertilizers, or like I said, biocontrol. It is the biopesticides here in Brazil. So 70% of the respondents are using or planning to use biofertilizers. As you know, here in Brazil, we do not use nitrogen fertilization in soybean production because we have a biofertilizer that goes with the seed, and this product can make a nitrogen intake from the air instead of the chemical fertilization. So why this is relevant? Because Brazilian farmers want to preserve their land by using the best agricultural practices, and it improves as well their livelihood and financial well-being, because financial well-being, of course, is one of the key drivers for the adoption of sustainable practices. That's why the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock have options and facilitates the use of bio-inputs in Brazil. And that's one of our programs. The National Bio-Inputs Programs is not new in Brazil, and it has collected several positive feedback from the farmland, because the adoption of the bio-inputs in Brazil is increasing every year. So it's this program is designed to bolster the use of the bio-inputs and provides environmental sustainability. So, it supports investments in science, technology, and innovation, but also in credit and promotion and training as well, because it's important to train our farmers in how to use the bio-inputs in Brazil. And it covers several subjects between soil fertility to veterinary products, post-harvest products, and we have a secretariat in the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock that works directly with this program. So if you have any questions or would like to have more information, please contact us, that we can forward you to the right personnel in the ministry. And like I said, because of this national program, which is not new, we grew over the years a lot, and we have registered several products. I believe that we have the major. This is this is a figure that I believe no country has like us. We have 770 products registered for immediate use in Brazil. Of course, bio-inputs will never replace completely chemical products, I believe, but it's an option that we can provide for our farmers in Brazil. So the main category that we have registered are bio-insecticides, because Brazil, you may notice that it's a tropical country. We do not have a pronunciated winter. So during the winter, the cold and the snow sometimes can curb the pest proliferation, and we do not have this in here in Brazil. So we have the best conditions, both for agriculture and for pests growth here, unfortunately. So bioinsecticides are a big deal here in Brazil, and it's been used a lot in several farms. But we also have biofungicides and biological agents and bionematicides. Nematodes are microscopic worms in the soil that damages the plant roots, and it's really hard to address this problem. So bionematicides today are the new hit in the market, and they are growing a lot. So we are expecting to have a huge increase of bionematicides in the near future. And finally, I would like to talk about the other efforts that we have for our farmers to grow sustainable. So we have the Plan for Adaptation and Low Carbon Emission in Agriculture. This is a plan which was developed in the earlier 2010s, I believe, and it comprises several technologies and also provisions to foster no-tillage, the use of bioinputs, the implementation of integrated systems, irrigation, like we saw yesterday, the governor said that it's important to foster irrigation systems, of course, because of the climate change that we are having right now. But we are within the scope of the ABC Plus plan. We are envisioning the increase of areas for planted forest. So it's huge. It's a huge effort that we are having right now for planted forest. Also, recovery of degraded pasture land, which is something that my colleague is going to address in a few minutes. And also, one of the sponsored technologies is the management of residues, because those residues also emits lots of carbon to the atmosphere. And if we address this problem as well, we are going to help our nationally determined contribution in the Paris Plan Accord that Brazil has also signed. So the credit for the ABC plan is also available. I guess it's not. It was available in the Plano Safra. I would say it's the harvest plan, which is the main financial solution that the Brazilian government have for investment in our agriculture, and we set aside $1.42 billion for those technologies, to sponsor those technologies and also help the farmers to produce sustainably. And the limit for loan is about $1 million, and the investment term is up to 12 years, because most of those technologies takes time to render positive results. So we are very interested in having to increase the grace period for producers to pay the investment back to financial institutions. So this is something that the Brazilian government is doing to help them to have this low carbon agriculture here in Brazil. And the goals that we have for this program is huge. We have estimated that within this period, 2020-2030, we will mitigate the emission of 1 billion ton of CO2 in the atmosphere. And each of these technologies will help us to achieve this solution. I took the effort to go to the EPA calculator and check how much these emissions actually can mean in comparison to other efforts in the EPA calculator. So if we can achieve this goal within this period, it's compared to 17.79, almost 18 billion seedlings grown for 10 years. which is huge, or 2,000, almost 300,000 wind turbines running for a year. So it's huge. It's a huge effort made by the agricultural sector and our farmers in curbing the emissions of CO2 to the atmosphere. So I hope I can. I brought today a bit of information for you regarding our production here in Brazil, what we are doing as a country, which is of paramount importance, not only for Brazil but for the world. And if you have any questions, feel free. I'm here all day long. I mean, until the lunchtime. But I will be here around if you want to talk. I have several information for you, and we can be found in the Secretariat of Trade and International Relations. And now I'm going to hand this floor to my colleague back in Brasilia. He is going to stream his presentation right now. And he's going to talk about the portfolio of investments and the program that we have in MAPA for the recovery of degraded pasture lands here in Brazil. His name is André Okubo. I don't know if Okubo is online. So, Okubo, my friend, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Felipe. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Felipe. I just want to be sure that you are listening to me well. Everything is correct. The audio and the image is okay.
Tá tudo certo.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I'd like to compliment all the audience, the representatives of the government, the embassies, and the private sector as well. I'll try my best to do the presentation in English as Felipe was doing before. And I was watching the whole presentation since from the beginning, and very important information. So I'll try to share just 1 second. Okay. I'll try to share the presentation here. Okay, I hope you, I do not see you from now on, but I think it's on the screen right now. So as Felipe was saying, we're going to talk about our national program for the conversion of degraded pastures into sustainable agricultural and forestry production systems. In the Brazilian letters, it's called the PNCPD. And we are also going to talk about foreign investments, promotion in Brazil. And these are the both subjects that we're going to cover today. So in a very general way, to place Brazil and the national program for pastures recovery, we could say the world faces multiple challenges today. We have a growing demand for food, and not only for amount of food, but for the quality of food as well. We have seen in the last few years the rise of conflict and geopolitical instability, unfortunately. We are, of course, we have all the challenges of the climate change in place, and also the inequality and poverty around the world, as you all very know. Brazil has a very special position for food production. If we compare Brazil to other countries in the world or other regions, Brazil is still, as Felipe said in the presentation, talking about the biomes and the areas and so on, but Brazil has enough area for agriculture and for its expansion. Despite the climate change, the climate change challenge that we face, Brazil has a very position in climate. We have availability of water over the last 50 years. Maybe we have developed this tropical technology to produce, and also very important, we have the people to do that. We have the sector, the farmers that have learned how to produce in a tropical environment. Talking about more specifically about the program and the pasture lands in Brazil. Pastures today in Brazil covers something like 160 or even 170 million hectares in general, in total. Among these 160 or 170 million hectares, Brazil has 100 million hectares, around 100 million hectares in what we could call degraded pastures or pastures with medium or low vigor, okay? And within these 100 million hectares, according to this study of MAPA, we have around 40 million hectares of high suitability for agriculture. This is another study that was made in partnership with ICCIT, the GPP, Agro Insight, and the Ministry of Agriculture, with different with a different methodology. Okay, just to and in this methodology, it was selected if the pasture had a low or medium vigor, if the property was corrected, registered in our rural environmental register, which we call CAR, okay. If that areas did not have a conflict with restricted areas such as protected areas, indigenous and military zones, for example. And also it was applied a proxy that tried to show if in those areas there were any kind of deforestation after 2008 that could be even legal or illegal. But in this study, all the areas that had deforestation after 2008 were eliminated of such as potential area. And also after this, geophysical parameters were applied, such as altitude, the gradients, the annual water depth, and also the agricultural suitability of those areas. So in this another study, it was identified that Brazil has in this moment around 107 million hectares with low and medium vigor. And after applying all these criteria, it was the result, the potential area of conversion would be something like 27.7 million hectares. And as I said, of the criteria that were applied, this is even a little bit underestimated. And this 27.7 million hectares are divided or distributed in around 1 million, a little bit more than 1 million properties. So it shows very well the potential of converting degraded areas into sustainable areas for agriculture and other possibilities. Just to have a quick view, in the last presentation, Filipe talked about the Brazilian evolution in terms of technology and productivity. Most of the Brazilian production was based on the raise of productivity rather than in the raise of the increase of area. So, but just to have a quick view of annual crops in the first, if we consider the first harvest. In the last 30 years, Brazil has changed from around 30 million hectares to 52 million hectares. If we consider just the area for the first harvest, in the graphs, it's curious because, for example, if we see the areas destined for corn in the first harvest, it has decreased because Brazil now produce most of the corn in a second harvest basis, which mostly after soybeans. So here we're just considering the first harvest. Sorry. In terms of environmental attributes, considering the climate change and the CO2 production in agricultural activities, we could say in a very general way that degraded pastures and conventional systems are CO2 emitters in general, whereas the other practice, as mentioned before, in that are listed on the ABC program as sustainable practices, such as planted forest, no-till systems, integrated systems, and well-managed pastures. They are they sequestrate the carbon and raise organic material in the soil mostly. So after all, this is a low carbon agriculture. So it's very clear that the difference between these conventional systems in general and degraded pastures for what we can call the sustainable practices that are already happening in Brazil over the last years. Well, I'm not going to talk about the ABC practices, as Felipe has mentioned in the previous presentation. I'll just highlight here the credit, the available credit for pastures recovery in the last year in Brazil was around 2 billion reais, with a loan limit for each farmer for 5 million reais, and the term was up to 10 years. So it's and the resources, they ran out in less than 1 month, and which shows for us very clearly that the demand is much higher than the offer of this kind of credit. So the demand and the appetite of the farmers and even the ranchers for converting degraded pasture is very high. So when we are talking about this kind of conversion, what are the eligible projects? So if we see on the top left on the screen, we have a scenario of a degraded area, of a degraded pastures that could be recovery from better pastures, that could be converted to agriculture, could become an integrated system of livestock and agriculture and forest and its variations, and also could become a planted forest. So all of this could be used and also combined. And also the programs for native forest recovery are also covered by the program, but linked to a productive activity, not only native forest recovery by itself or alone in the property. Okay, just to highlight this difference. So in this first stage of the PNCPD, well, MAPA has put some serious effort in this program. We understand that the way forward to our agriculture is to recover degraded areas. By recovering degraded areas, we keep away the pressure in the native forest, because if we because there are already areas that are in the agricultural systems. Okay, this is one big issue, to take the pressure out of our forests, and also incorporating or integrating these areas that are not productive or enough productive. But not only for the productivity, they do not play a social important role or economic important role. So we understand that this is the way that Brazilian agriculture wants to mostly grow in the next years, of course, in using all the best technology. So for this first stage of the PNCPD, there is a program called Eco Invest that is headed by the Brazilian National Treasury. Okay, it's a little bit complex, but if you in some moment want to take a look in this program, it's very interesting. So in this first round, we expect at this moment is just an expectation. Okay, the National Treasury, the Brazilian National Treasury, has captured in international bonds some amount of resources. In this amount of resources, we expect to be destined to the program the amount of $1 billion. With this $1 billion, we expect to carry on an auction with Brazilian banks, and the Brazilian banks would do a leverage on this initial amount in something like 20 or 30%, which would totalize around something around $1.3 billion for this next crop for 25-26, which would be suitable or would correspond for an area of conversion around 1 million hectares or a bit less. Okay, so this would be a very important step for the program. The program that was launched officially by a presidential decree in 2023 would be effective. Would be effective with some important loans for the next harvest. Okay, so just some highlights of what we expect for the program to cover. The standards, we expect interest rates very competitive in the market for this kind of resource, but also the standards for the farmers that are willing to join the program will be higher for sure. So some of the highlights: the properties without deforestation since December 2023, which was the date of the official decree. After this financiation, the property would have zero deforestation on the property for the next next 10 years. There are in the designed program some incentives for legal reserve surplus. As Felipe mentioned, Brazil has the forest code, but many properties in Brazil they are above the forest code. In other words, they have a reserve. They have more than what the law requires. So it's a way to create an incentive for the producers to keep more than the law demands. Okay, the sustainable agricultural practices, of course, need to be used. We expect to have, by this change of practice, a soil carbon capture from some amounts of loam. The producer must do a carbon balance in the property, and in this also in this scenario for bigger loans. There would be the need for the labor certification and to be applied as well gender policies. Okay, so just a very general ways that the program has its complexities, but just to give some highlights. So the program in general is seeking for increased production in Brazil, aiming food security not only for Brazil but for our partners in the world. We can also say some energy security as well, because as we know, much of the Brazilian production also goes to energy. Okay, the use of low carbon agriculture, as it was said, and zero deforestation. So if we could highlight the main objectives of the program, we would say these three pillars could be very interesting. I'm not going to go much further in the loans, but in very general, we seek for international partners for long-term and low-interest loans. We do still have some issues and seeking for solutions for the currency hedging, because when you capture resources in international currencies and transform it into Brazilian currency, and considering even the long term of this operation, it's very possible. There is a risk in this operation. Okay, and also we're looking for non-refundable resources to assist the small farmers, since the small farmers have a very important line, which is the Pronaf, and with low interest rates in Brazil. Okay, so I think from the national program, this was what we wanted to say to you, and be available for any questions. I'm moving on to the next topic, which is the promotion of investments, and thinking in both ways for international companies or governments that are willing to invest in Brazil, but also the other way around when we think about Brazilian companies trying to invest abroad. Okay, so one activity that we are dedicating a lot of energy is our portfolio. What is the portfolio that we are talking about? It would be a set of projects registered by entrepreneurs and producers operating in Brazilian agribusiness, or Brazilian companies, companies that are in Brazil, that are interested in receiving foreign investments. The purpose is it could be any, but to initiate, to expand, to modernize, whether in terms of production, processing, or commercialization of any products of our agribusiness. And this capital could come in a way to do a joint venture, to merge companies, to do acquisitions, technological partnerships, equity investments, and also the FIAGROs, which are the Brazilian funds of investments specific for the agribusiness, among other modalities. So it's as you can see, it's very the possibilities are numerous. And we aim to do the presentation to investors and foreign investments funds managers interest in operating in the Brazilian agricultural sector. Okay, so we have this QR code if you want to check, where Brazilian companies can register their projects. And with this, and by doing this registration, it will come to our portfolio of investments. Okay, and with this portfolio of investments, our idea is to show and create opportunities for the Brazilian companies to connect with international investors. Okay. We have, I didn't get this part, Felipe, but MAPA has today 38 points of countries where we have agricultural attachés. So working with in different embassies around the world. So we do have an important capillarity in other countries and other continents that could benefit Brazilian companies, and doing some international actions that could benefit the Brazilian companies, as some that are in the presentation. For example, participating in relevant events for attracting foreign investments. We can give some examples, such as the Global Age Investing in New York, USA, that will be in April this year. The annual Invest meeting in the United Arab Emirates that happens every year, or even for instance, the Agri-Food Tech Expo Asia in Singapore, that is more focused for the ag tax and food tax, but also actions to promote investment opportunities in Brazilian agribusiness to local investors, such as fund managers, banks, and other companies potentially interested in the sector. We can give the example of a recent meeting that has happened in the UK with Bloomberg, with several important financial stakeholders in the UK. In this occasion, we are talking more specifically about the National Program for Degraded Pastures, and also another possibility, such as road shows that we made one last year in Germany, and as I mentioned before, some possibilities with other countries, but thinking about the Brazilian companies or the Brazilian entrepreneurs to internationalize their companies. We have the example of Angola, which is a very important country in Africa, and has some important opportunities in lands concession, which is a little bit different from Brazil, which normally the farms or the farmlands are private, okay, but in some countries the farmlands are state owned, and you have the possibility of a concession for many years, for a long period. And we're probably gonna have a mission to Angola in May, exactly to explore these opportunities of investments. Well, just to give some examples of what can we do and what kind of partnership that we can think of when we think about investments in this both ways. Okay, so thank you for the attention. I hope I didn't take all the time that try to summarize our main data here. And we are available for any questions and things you may have. I leave the contact with my email and so on. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your patience. We are going to move forward with Emerson. He's going to talk about the Jesus, I forgot the word for it. But what we have doing in Brazil to assure a safe production and all the health food exported to other countries. I believe Emerson is going to host his presentation in Portuguese, so if you have your headphone, please use the translation service.
Bom dia a todos. Então, a apresentação sobre as garantias para a sanidade e inocuidade dos alimentos. A minha fala vai também, assim como nossas apresentações de ontem, sobre atividades que a Superintendência do MAPA no Rio Grande do Sul realiza, e essas atividades se replicam nas superintendências nos outros estados. Eu vou fazer um destaque, então, dessas atividades que garantem, né, a sanidade e a inocuidade dos alimentos, a saúde animal e a sanidade vegetal, e trazer alguns exemplos aí de ações que o MAPA realiza junto com os serviços oficiais estaduais para erradicação de focos de doenças e erradicação de pragas dos vegetais. Então, as principais ações e objetivos da defesa agropecuária inicia com uma base de legislação federal, que, assim como nós vimos nas apresentações de ontem, tem como base, né, os regramentos internacionais. E as principais ações estão vinculadas a registros, padronização, vigilância, inspeção e fiscalização. E o que se busca com todas essas ações? Se busca a qualidade e a inocuidade dos alimentos, a saúde do consumidor, a sanidade vegetal, a saúde animal e também a sustentabilidade, pensando na sua condição, né, de sustentabilidade do ponto de vista econômico, social e ambiental. Aqui, assim como eu trouxe ontem na apresentação, como que está a estrutura organizacional da Superintendência, a representação do MAPA nos estados, e isso, como eu tinha mencionado, se replica, né, nas outras unidades da Federação do Brasil. Destacando aqui os serviços da Divisão de Defesa Agropecuária e os serviços verticalizados, que também estão aqui no Rio Grande do Sul, que é o Serviço de Inspeção de Produtos de Origem Animal e a Vigilância Agropecuária Internacional. Aqui no Rio Grande do Sul está o 10º Serviço de Inspeção de Produtos de Origem Animal, que trabalha na inspeção desses produtos, no Serviço de Inspeção Federal, que é o CIF, e as centrais de certificação. E a função do Serviço de Inspeção de Produtos de Origem Animal é assegurar a qualidade de produtos de origem animal, comestíveis e não comestíveis, destinados ao mercado interno e externo. Aqui a distribuição dos serviços, são 11 no Brasil, destacando ali as regiões, os estados que abrangem nas cores, e o Rio Grande do Sul é o 10º CIPO. O Brasil conta com o Serviço de Inspeção Federal, o CIF, em mais de 5.000 estabelecimentos. Conhecido, né, pelo selo CIF. O CIF tem 110 anos, desde 1915, estão atuando diretamente nos estabelecimentos de produtos de origem animal. Todos os produtos de origem animal sob responsabilidade do MAPA são registrados e aprovados pelo CIF, visando garantir produtos com a certificação sanitária e tecnológica para o consumidor, respeitando as legislações nacionais e as internacionais vigentes. Atualmente, o Brasil exporta, né, para mais de 180 países, destacando-se como um dos principais exportadores mundiais e transmitindo a segurança por meio do selo de certificação, né, da Inspeção Federal. Dentre os programas de controle na área de inspeção de produtos de origem animal, se destaca o Programa de Avaliação da Conformidade dos Padrões Físico-Químicos e Microbiológicos de Produtos de Origem Animal, o Programa de Controle e Monitoramento de Salmonela, no abate de frangos, de galinhas, perus de corte e reprodução, o controle de listéria em produtos prontos para o consumo e o Programa Nacional de Controle de Resíduos e Contaminantes. Em relação às ações do Vigiagro, né, a Vigilância Internacional do Trânsito de Animais, de Vegetais, de Produtos e Insumos Agropecuários, que atua nos portos, nos aeroportos, nos postos de fronteira e estações aduaneiras do interior. Os objetivos do Vigiagro, entre eles, né, entre os objetivos, é prevenir a introdução, a disseminação e o estabelecimento de pragas e enfermidades, assegurar que as importações não comprometam a saúde da população dos animais e a sanidade dos vegetais, salvaguardar a inocuidade, a qualidade e a identidade de mercadorias, bens e materiais de interesse agropecuário, e garantir que produtos de interesse agropecuário destinados à exportação atendam às exigências sanitárias, zoossanitárias, fitossanitárias, de origem, de identidade e de qualidade estabelecidas pelos países importadores como requisitos, né, estabelecidos em acordos internacionais. Aqui nesse mapa a distribuição das unidades do Vigiagro no Rio Grande do Sul, o estado que tem o maior número de unidades, estão identificadas em azul, né, nos municípios ali de fronteira com o Uruguai, de fronteira com a Argentina, o Porto de Rio Grande e o aeroporto de Porto Alegre, que atende também o Porto de Porto Alegre e as aduanas de interior na região metropolitana, Novo Hamburgo e Canoas. Em verde estão destacadas as unidades técnicas regionais que dão suporte para a fiscalização dos serviços da Superintendência. Aqui destacando as áreas, né, de atuação dos serviços. O Serviço de Fiscalização de Insumos de Saúde Animal, o CISA, que atua nos programas de saúde animal, com fiscalização de produtos veterinários, a fiscalização de material genético e relação de bem-estar animal. O Serviço de Fiscalização de Insumos e Sanidade Vegetal trabalha, né, na fiscalização de sementes e mudas, de agrotóxicos, de fertilizantes, inoculantes, corretivos e substratos, também na parte de vigilância de pragas, na aviação agrícola, na certificação fitossanitária e nos tratamentos fitossanitários. O Serviço de Inspeção de Produtos de Origem Vegetal atua na fiscalização de vinhos e bebidas e na parte de qualidade vegetal. E o Núcleo de Suporte à Produção Orgânica na regulação, fomento e fiscalização da produção orgânica. Falando um pouco das atividades do CISA, o Serviço de Fiscalização de Insumos e Saúde Animal, que atua nos programas de saúde animal, nos insumos pecuários. Então, os principais programas nacionais de saúde animal, ou seja, que também estão, né, em outras unidades da federação, no Rio Grande do Sul também atua na vigilância para a febre aftosa, no controle e erradicação de brucelose e tuberculose animal, controle da raiva dos herbívoros, a prevenção e vigilância de encefalopatia espongiforme bovina, a sanidade avícola, a sanidade de abelhas, né, a sanidade apícola, a sanidade de equídeos, de ovinos e caprinos, e a sanidade de suínos, todos esses programas nacionais de saúde animal. Aqui falando um pouco, né, dos casos de influenza no Rio Grande do Sul. Entre 2023 e 2024, foram detectados casos sempre somente em fauna silvestre. Não há registros de ocorrência aqui no Rio Grande do Sul de influenza em aves de subsistência ou aves comerciais. Então, em 2023, ocorrências, né, cisne de pescoço preto, mamíferos né, que foram detectados, né, no litoral, também outras aves, né, também silvestres, nessas datas que foram mencionadas nos municípios. Então, destacando, né, somente detecções em fauna silvestre e destacando sempre os programas de vigilância e de testagem, né, realizados pelo Serviço de Saúde Animal. Falar também, destacar o caso, né, de um evento de doença de Newcastle que ocorreu em 2024 no Rio Grande do Sul, para mostrar que já assim que houve a ocorrência e a notificação ao serviço, né, oficial, o Serviço Veterinário Oficial Estadual, já houve uma ação, né, rápida dos serviços, aí, junto com o Serviço de Saúde Animal no Rio Grande do Sul. Em 18 de julho ocorreu a depopulação, ou seja, né, a eliminação com uso de CO2 e enlonamento nesse local de ocorrência. Na mesma data, houve o destino, né, de todos os resíduos, das carcaças, foram enterrados dentro da mesma propriedade foco. No dia seguinte, houve a limpeza, né, iniciou daí o procedimento de limpeza de equipamentos das instalações. Aconteceu logo em 25 de julho, depois de todos os procedimentos de limpeza da desinfecção, que foi a finalização com a desinfecção de equipamentos e instalações, e em 25 de julho se considerou encerrado o foco. Logo em seguida, 26 de julho, iniciou o processo de vazio sanitário, que durou pelo menos 42 dias. Em setembro, ou seja, julho, né, julho, agosto, setembro, alguns meses, né, para iniciar a repopulação, foi autorizada, né, a repopulação com 20% da capacidade. E a partir entre setembro e outubro foram realizadas testagens para verificar se havia, né, a ocorrência da doença, né, fazendo 2 coletas. Como não houve ocorrência, em 23 de outubro houve o encerramento do evento junto à Organização Mundial de Saúde Animal, apresentando, então, uma autodeclaração para a recuperação do status de país livre da doença de Newcastle. Aqui mostrando, né, a parte de delimitação e ações na zona de emergência. Então, a ocorrência foi o município de Antagorda. Aquele losango vermelho marca, né, o foco da doença. Os pontos, né, que estão marcados em verde são os pontos onde houve barreira de desinfecção. E no círculo menor, pontilhado vermelho, a área perifocal de 3 quilômetros. E o círculo maior, pontilhado escuro, a área de vigilância de 10 quilômetros. Então, a zona de restrição, chamada, né, a zona perifocal e a de vigilância, com instalação de barreiras sanitárias, 5 na área perifocal e 3 na área de vigilância. Então, sempre havendo uma comunicação, né, com o objetivo de realizar o controle desse evento, foram destacadas para a região 47 equipes, ou seja, mais de 100 profissionais, entre médicos veterinários e demais funcionários, tanto do Serviço Oficial Federal como do Serviço Oficial Estadual da Secretaria da Agricultura. E, até o momento, não foram identificadas suspeitas de novos focos para a doença de Newcastle nas 443 propriedades visitadas, incluindo a totalidade de alojamentos da população, tanto comercial como as localizadas no perifoco. Aqui algumas imagens, né, da remoção, da eliminação de camas e resíduos. As barreiras fixas, né, no controle de trânsito de animais e de produtos de risco. E aqui ainda algumas outras ações, a investigação clínica e epidemiológica nas granjas avícolas e das criações com aves de subsistência. Na área perifocal, 3 quilômetros a cada 3 dias, e na área de vigilância, aquela região de 7 quilômetros, a cada 7 dias. E todos os estabelecimentos comerciais e de subsistência foram visitados pelo menos 2 vezes. Agora, falando sobre as ações do Serviço de Inspeção de Produtos de Origem Vegetal, de uma soma, né, de boas práticas de fabricação e padrões de identidade e qualidade que leva a essa condição de uma qualidade, né, desejável no controle de qualidade. O Serviço de Inspeção de Produtos de Origem Vegetal trabalha, como eu mencionei, com vinhos e bebidas, e na qualidade vegetal, tanto para grãos, farinhas, azeites. Então, os produtos padronizados, né, são os produtos que possuem padrões mínimos para classificação de um alimento em determinada categoria, e esse padrão de identidade e qualidade, ele é um conjunto de atributos que identifica e qualifica um alimento. Aqui alguns exemplos, né, de produtos vegetais que o Brasil tem como padronizados: arroz, feijão, milho, pipoca, soja, algodão, azeite e outros produtos, café, alho, entre outros. Aqui é um destaque para a legislação desses padrões, né? O Brasil publica compêndios, né, dessas normas, dos padrões. Aqui a consolidação das normas de bebidas, fermentado acético, vinho e derivados da uva e do vinho, e a consolidação das legislações da qualidade vegetal, dos regulamentos técnicos para produtos vegetais, subprodutos e resíduos de valor econômico. E também, assim como na área animal, na área vegetal também existe o Plano Nacional de Resíduos de Contaminantes. Falando um pouco das ações do Serviço de Fiscalização de Insumos e Sanidade Vegetal, que nesse serviço atua nas inscrições e credenciamentos de estabelecimentos e profissionais que atuam nas atividades, né, na área de sementes e mudas. Atua também nas inscrições de campos de produção de sementes e viveiros de mudas, e registro de estabelecimentos e produtos na área de fertilizantes, corretivos e inoculantes. Isso dá uma ideia de uma condição de rastreabilidade sobre todas essas atividades. Também atua, né, esse serviço na vigilância e controle de pragas, na certificação fitossanitária na origem, aqui no Rio Grande do Sul, para maçã e tabaco, tem esses programas. O credenciamento de empresas que realizam tratamentos fitossanitários com fins quarentenários, e orientações quanto ao atendimento dos requisitos fitossanitários para importação e exportação de vegetais e seus produtos. Na área de sanidade vegetal, eu vou mencionar o caso de erradicação de Cydia pomonella, praga da maçã, que houve a detecção em área urbana do município de Vacaria, no ano de 1991. E aí foram iniciadas ações de vigilância com uso de armadilhas para a captura de adultos. Houve também ações de eliminação de hospedeiros, porque essa ocorrência foi nas áreas urbanas e não nos pomares comerciais. Com a redução das ocorrências, houve a erradicação da praga no ano de 2014. Atualmente, Cydia pomonella é uma praga quarentenária ausente para o Brasil e está mantido também o Plano Nacional de Prevenção e Vigilância para a Cydia pomonella, ou seja, se mantém, né, todo o programa de vigilância com armadilhas nos pomares comerciais, nas áreas urbanas, para ir monitorando, né, em caso de necessidade de nova ação, porque a praga não houve, né, uma nova introdução depois da erradicação em 2014. Então, retomando, como eu tinha trazido lá no primeiro slide, né, as garantias para a sanidade e inocuidade dos alimentos, para a saúde do consumidor, a saúde animal e a sanidade vegetal, parte, né, da base de uma legislação e dessas questões de registros, padronização, vigilância, inspeção e fiscalização. E isso pode ser somado, né, a partir disso que eu fui apresentando, com também questões de rastreabilidade, de comunicação, de resposta rápida e de ações integradas dos serviços oficiais, tanto federal, estadual, municipal, e também alinhados junto ao setor produtivo. Obrigado.